Wargamer Online, the home of wargaming.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another Monday Musing. And good news, I've got some company with me as well. So Judge Gudge in the middle there.
Hi.
And Liam over there on the right hand side of the screen. How you doing,
Hi
Liam?
guys.
Now, out there in the internet ether is Elster Nation. He's currently circling. He's cruising at approximately 13 kilobytes a second. And he'll be coming into land at some point during this show. I've got no way of stopping him join. So as soon as he's up and running, he's just going to pop up. And then I'm going to scrabble around and try and get the technology to work. But hello to everybody who's joined us. Thank you very much to my guests, Judge Gudge and Liam, and possibly Elster Nation when he shows up. Let's cover the chat. Let's see what's going off in the chat. Actually, before we see what's going off in the chat, let's talk about tonight's show. So tonight's show, this is a classic, I think, hobby hangout, Monday musing. So we're just going to be having a bit of a chat, what we've been working on, those kind of things, start of the show. We're going to be having a quick chat about Kill Team Commanders. We've had a review copy of that. Myself and Liam did the unboxing for that, didn't we? And had a quick look through. Maybe I should have closer to me. I can't actually... Yes, we can reveal stuff. Of course we can, because the embargo's gone now, hasn't it? We'll be talking also a little bit about Orktober. I know that there's a lot of Ork players out there saying it's getting pretty late in the month before they're seeing their Ork stuff, but I think it's finally been announced on the community. You're only a few days away from being able to get your pre-order mitts onto some Ork goodness. So I'm sure there'll be plenty before the end of the month. We ourselves, I think, Liam, are going to be filming Speed Freaks in the next few days as well. So that's going to be exciting stuff. We do have a copy of it. I can actually say we have a copy of it. I can't talk about what's in it because, well, simply because we can't. But we are filming this week. We've had a good look through it, haven't we? And a good old giggle about it. So it's pretty exciting. Like I say, can't cover what's in it, but I can tell you, you will not be disappointed with the models. And to be honest, that's hardly a secret, is it, nowadays? Because Games Workshop have, you know, absolutely spammed the internet world with beautiful photos of Orks. So that's kind of roughly what the show's about tonight. And depending on whether Elster Nation pops up or not, we'll find out what he's been up to as well. Okay, let's have a quick look at what's in the chat. We've got Paul Collier in there, full of Nurgle's rot, but hoping to tune in at the end of his night shift. Stuart Noble has joined us. Ork Boys is in there. Ooh, we've got a front seat. Ralph is in there. Patrick's in there. Hey, Ralph and Patrick. Good to see you both. Ralph, we were having a quick chat earlier on. It's great to see you back in the world of the internet. Not the only one with internet problems, though, and I can see you were having a good chuckle about that later on to find out we ourselves were experiencing trouble. DJ the Lucky One is in there. Hey, DJ the Lucky One, how you doing? And Jim Wilson, of course, Jim Wilson, who I will be meeting. And I think you've messaged me, haven't you, Jim? So that's great news, because we are going to be meeting up at the Airbrush workshop, the giveaway that we ran for November. So there you go, we're going to be meeting up and we're going to be doing some airbrushing together, which is going to be great fun. I'm really looking forward to that. Derpimus Maximus is in, Brush for Hire is in there as well, Thordalim is in there, Heidi Ho Wargamers, Roa is in there, Paul Collier, Furious George, Sam Stocks, we'll catch up later, just popping in to say hey. Hey Sam, get that Grenadier model painted. Now, I know all your stuff's in storage, but anyway, even so, very cool. I don't know if you've not been on the Wargamer Online community page, you guys to my left, but there is Sam's been on there actually with some looking to identify some really cool old Grenadier dragon. It's a red dragon, I think. Really old school miniature, looks absolutely fantastic. Right, Jim Wilson's just confirmed. Scott is in there saying hello, lovely day, good evening, Scott, or good day to you, sir. Jim Wilson, Johnny Rockstar, can't imagine Ork players getting angry. I thought they were all jolly fungi. Oh no, what a bad joke. Why did I even go there? Interestingly enough, talking of bad jokes, we found a snake at the office today. It was exactly 3.14 meters long. It was a python.
Just stop. Just stop. Stop.
Yeah,
so Paul's joined us. His camera's off. Hey Paul, how you doing?
I am miffed to say the least. Technology has failed me this day. So,
Don't
but
worry.
apart from that, I'm quite good.
Don't worry about it. You could be a fuzzy little icon over on the right-hand side if that's the way it's going, mate.
Awesome. Let's do that.
I don't think we can worry too much about this kind of thing, can we? Dr. Octopus is in there, and Yo Paul, being better, but I think, that's Sam talking to other people. There you go. I'll leave them to it. Okay, right. Mr. Gudge, actually, seeing as though you're now occupying centre top on the screen, because Paul Elston is taking up a third of the screen with nothing more than an avatar.
Oh, Lord, what?
Do you know how much time I put into getting this stuff to work, Paul? And you pile up 10 minutes before the show and your camera doesn't work. I mean, right, Mr. Gudge. I'm going to see if I can actually bring up some of your work. But what have you been working on?
I've been working on clearing my work in progress shelf because it's always full of. I always prime minis and think I'll paint that, and then it sits there for ages staring at me. So I've been working through some of the stuff on that shelf, mainly just so I could get to the Atlantis dwarfs that I bought at ChillCon, because those were so nice and I so wanted to paint those, but I thought I had the guilt for the the stuff that was primed but never painted on the shelf, so I felt I had to do some of that first before I could get to the dwarfs.
So this sudden rush of hobby progress that I've seen from you, and to be honest, hobby is too gentle a word for what you do. I think we have to call it artistic endeavour, although it doesn't roll off the tongue as easy, does it? But all of this is just so you can get onto those dwarves, yeah?
Yeah, I love those dwarfs. They're so the detail on them is so nice, when I looked at the you look at the box and everything, and I looked at them on the stands at ChillCon, and they were just the resin. Yeah, those are so beautiful. They've got so much detail. So I thought, I've got to get some of those and have a go at those. But once you start getting some paint on them, especially the face, you can just see just how detailed it is, and it really was a joy to paint. It was really nice.
I mean, it's interesting what you say about the faces, because I was fortunate enough to get 2 boxes of those. So I had the character set, which I think is what the one I've been bringing up on screen, the post you put up on Wargamer Online community page. And that's from the character set, isn't it? The specials character set. Yeah, the
specials. That was the one I got. I got the specials because I don't paint armies. I just paint single figures for my own enjoyment. That was the one that had the most diverse set. Every one in there is a lovely little single piece on its own. Yeah. So that was the one.
I filmed a review over the weekend, and it's in edit at the moment, and I think it's going live Thursday. We've got a review going live tomorrow for some sort of terrain gibbons, which you'll find out more about tomorrow. So that's scenery and terrain stuff. And on Thursday, I think the review for the Atlantis miniatures is going up. And Coleman, who may or may not be in the chat tonight, I'm not sure he's in. Coleman's actually doing the edit for me on that one, and he's a huge dwarf fan. And I think at some point I mentioned what does it for me with the miniatures was just the amount of character in each individual face. It's just in every single one is just a separate work of art, isn't it? It's amazing.
Yeah.
And you've really picked that out. I think you really picked that out in your painting. I mean, how long did it take you to do this? I'm bringing it up on screen again.
I think it took me it was probably like four evenings. I think I spent on that. So yeah, I was really chuffed with it when it came out, and especially the face. It just was so. It felt so easy to paint, and all the details just came out so nicely, and it looked so realistic. I was just really impressed with the sculpt. And just felt it just gave me the best chance to do what I wanted to do with it.
And I know I'm dwelling on it a little bit. You had a question from James on the Facebook group, which was saying, how did you get that kind of ruddy skin tone? And you've given the kind of recipe to that, but do you mind just talking through that again? Because I was blown away by that. There's so much tonal shift in that face. It's incredible.
It's the Vallejo. Which one it was now? It was the the Vallejo
beige red.
Beige
is it?
red.
You've got this.
Yeah, beige red was the base. Which is a sort of slightly pinky, sort of browny color. It's a nice base color. And then so I started with that, and then I originally thought I was going to highlight it up through a yellow to the light flesh tone, but it just didn't feel like it was going to work. And to be honest, it didn't feel like there was that much. There's not that much space. It is a very small model, being a dwarf. So in the end, I just went with the light flesh and just progressively, because I'm working on the wet palette these days. So there's no sort of specific measurements of the mixes. I just keep mixing and changing until it feels right. So I just kept pushing the highlights, and then after a little while, just then started mixing in some Oxford blue into the base tone to put into the shadows. I find Oxford blue works well in shadows for flesh tones.
Wow.
It adds a bit of life to them. It feels a bit more organic, and it just seems to work. That sort of slight shift.
Is that how you get that kind of translucent? There's a translucent look to the skin tones, isn't there? Is that how is it the blue that gives it that depth? Do you think is that?
Yeah, the blue in the shadows will help to do that, and it's just the glazing, because I'll highlight up and I'll push the highlights really far, and to the point at which I think they've gone too far, because I know I'm going to go back over it and glaze it with the base tone, which helps pull all the transitions together, smooth it out, and will also knock it back. So I never worry that I'm pushing it too far, because I know I can always just go back with the base tone and just knock it down a notch. And so then I do the same with the shadows. I just glaze those into the shadow areas, and then if I think I've gone, if it's gone too far, I can just go back over it with another glaze of the base tone, and then just hit the highlights again, and just keep pushing it until I'm happy, and then it's just a bit of Mephiston red, really thin glaze, just on the cheeks and the nose, just to put some life in the face.
Stunning work. Anyway, so I was blown away by it, and I know how small those miniatures are. I've been showing pictures as you've been talking, and that's a 32mm base. But even if you take into account that's a 32mm base, that's one of the smallest models, isn't it? The sort of the barmaid is kind of one of the smallest of the set. So beautiful to see it. Right, well, we've lost Liam as well while we were chatting away. Let's just give up, shall we? Shall we give up? Elster Nation, let's have a couple of minutes on what you've been working on. I know we might be able to show us. You may have posted something up on the Facebook group, but what have you been working on this week?
I've actually been a bit undercover, working on stuff. So I finished off Skaven Plague Furnace, which I think is on the Facebook group somewhere. So that was a bit of a monster to paint, to be honest with you. That was very hard to kind of get it. If anyone's going to paint it, strong advice would be paint it in sections before you build it all together, because it's incredibly hard to paint once it's all assembled, and you're like, how do I get there? So yeah, that was a bit of a monster. And then I decided to go a bit of a covert ops, and I'm working on something which I haven't posted any pictures of because I've gone into full-on manufacturing mode, so I haven't taken any photos of this. My friend got a Zone Mortalis board, and it got full 4x4 Zone Forge World Zone Mortalis tiles, and he bought them, and he was just like, yeah, we can play Zone Mortalis now, and I was like, cool. And I was dreading the standard thing which every wargamer does, is they get their stuff, and then it never gets painted, and you play on it, and just every single day you're like, one day we'll play with painted things. So I decided to counteract that. I said, do you want to have painting with it? He said, yeah. So I've been in full-on manufacturing painting mode, painting Forge World Zone Mortalis tiles, which has been great fun. Yeah, and I wish I had some pictures, but I don't. So I'm really sorry. I'm so unprepared tonight. Technology is failing me. I apologise to the internet.
That's life. Don't worry about it. I was looking. Actually, I looked at the Zone Mortalis boards when I was in Warhammer World last, and they are great pieces of kit, aren't they? I did make my own version, but I have to say there's a lot of detail in them. It depends how far you want to take it, but you could have so much fun with those.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right there. You can take them to the nth degree, but I think you would be there for a very, very long time if you were doing that. And I think sometimes just some pre-shading, a bit of shadow here and there, and then just some basic colours with a wash. I think that's enough, to be honest with you. But yeah, you could do it. In fact, what I'm doing is I'm doing all the base core work and everything, so you could play on it after I'm done with it, and then I'm taking it around to the rest of the group, and I'm sort of like, have at it, and they then get to play and do all the dirtying up and all the little details and stuff like that. So instead of me being exhausted going, I don't want to paint any more hazards, right? I can just throw it at those guys, and for them it's fresh, so they just get to muck around and do the cool bits effectively, which
that's always.
And then we're done.
One thing I noticed about those Zone Mortalis boards is that they're hollow. So in theory, you could actually rig each section up with lights, couldn't you? And that's what would be. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, nice one, Liam. Sorry, just saying. Liam popped out and joined back in, and because he went out and came back in, he's now occupying the right-hand side of the screen. So Paul, now we're much less of wasted screen down to your absence of face. So there you go.
Judge, you just need to leave, come back in, and then you'll go in from there, and then we'll be fine.
We can just cycle you all around. I was just actually having a quick look over my shoulder. I can actually reach Kill Team commanders if anybody has any questions, so maybe that's a good place to start. I did promise, of course, we are going to talk about kill teams and stuff, and I know that puts Mr. Judge and Elston in a precarious position because, you know, Mr. Judge is not a gamer by your own admission, isn't it?
That is true. Kill Team is an interesting one on the basis that I haven't bought it or anything, so I'm not hugely au fait with it. But as far from what I've gathered, I only need a very small number of figures. Well, I might be able to achieve that.
You can.
That's brilliant. I just dived off camera, by the way, just to go and find where a kill team was. So if anybody has any questions on commanders, but yes, it is indeed. You could play with. Well, given commanders actually are quite high points. A lot of the games are kind of 100 to 150 points. And a lot of the commanders, if you were to play commanders as well, kind of come in at 50, 60, 70 points. You know, if you go as far as Tyrannies, then the Broodlord's like 130 plus, you know. So you can Liam's holding up his Broodlord. So I think we know the direction that Liam's got. So you could definitely, you could probably show up to a kill team game with 3 models, I think, Judge Go. So maybe we can corner you into a game on that one.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm just having a quick look at the chat. Stick of the Dump says evening all. Good evening, Stick of the Dump. Cool classic retro title there. Was somebody munching in the background? I think it's Elstonation. His camera's not working, so who knows what he's up to. He could be doing anything.
To be honest with you, like the technology, there could be something just causing havoc in this room right now that I don't know what it is. So it's possible.
Jaspers says, I wonder if the Commander's release means they're waiting for next release cycle to put out 1,000 Suns Death Guard Grey Knight Factions kit. In terms of putting it out for Kill Team, yes, I guess so. You certainly, we've seen some of the commanders released already, haven't we? I'm just having a quick think of what was actually released. You definitely had the Primaris Librarian was one of the sets, if that's right. It's all on the Kill Team Commanders pre-order page, isn't it? That they've launched up, even though. Let me have a quick look at this because they did mention. So we've got the Gaius, which is the Deathwatch commander. We've got the Ork commander, the Magos for Mechanicus. Mr. Gudge, by the way, hint, hint. I think you do an awesome Mechanicus army or Kill Team. I'd like to see you take that on. There is Ankra, who's the Necron commander, and we are seeing Astra Militarium, Fireblade. Crikey. We've got an Adaptus Astartes set, which has got, I think, the Librarian in, if I remember rightly, and a Dark Eldar, or Drukhari, sorry. How should I say Dark Eldar? How could I? That's criminal. And along with the Deathwatch commander as well. So, oh, we've covered that. So that's the set this time. I will certainly see the rest, without a doubt. And the reason I'm pretty certain we will see the rest of them, without a doubt, in the next phase of the release, is the cards that come with the commanders cover their unique powers that are covered in the commander upgrade. So I'll give an example of that. The Farseer knows a basic Psyker spell, which is called Psybolt, and then he has his own sort of Eldari spells on top, where you get a card in the pack for Psybolt, but you don't get a card for his specific powers. So I think that's what you're seeing when you see the extra. There's 5 or 6 cards in each one of the commander sets as well. So it's going to be the cards that cover that. So that was a question on the review. And certainly looking into it. I've not dug through all the latest releases actually telling you what comes in those, but I'm pretty certain it will be those specific ones. You may even have a couple of cards that are just unique to that character as well. Okay. Yeah. Go on.
It'd be kind of interesting because the Thousand Suns, all the commanders seem to be based on a clamshell pack of a character. The Thousand Suns don't have one, apart from Araman, but that would be on a gigantic base because it's on a disc. So I'd be intrigued if they do one with the Thousand Suns, to be honest with you. Because,
I know that I think they've gone with Thousand Suns. I think they've gone. I'm just having a quick look in the book now to see what characters you.
I'm guessing it'd be a sorcerer.
Well, you've got the Heretic Astartes, so you've got the Exalted Champions and Sorcerer, basically. That's your option there. So, Thousand Suns does indeed have a separate list. So, Exalted Sorcerer and a Zangor Shaman are your options. So they've gone the kind of Zeech route rather than the Marine route, haven't they, basically?
I suppose they could throw the Shaman in there. It'd be the only guy that's on a flying disc, but that'd be interesting.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. We're going to be getting a game in on Tuesday, tomorrow night, Liam. So we're going to be filming a quick Kill Team game using commanders tomorrow night, and simultaneously we're going to be filming a Speed Freaks game as well. So that's going to be exciting. I'm really looking forward to that. That looks like a lot of fun. It's a very simple rule set. It looks very fast paced. It looks like a lot of fun. And as I said at the start of all this, the models are wonderful. Right. Where were we? Liam, I tell you what, we were going through the hobby crowd when you disappeared. So what have you been working on while I just have a quick look at some of the other stuff that's going online?
I've been working on Beastmen still, and a little bit of Gene Stealers. And that's about it.
And those Gene Stealers are for Kill Team, yeah? Is that your intention?
Yeah. I think I've got a little bit too many for Kill Team, but it's fine.
How many are you working on?
Well, at the minute there's 8, but I've got another 8 or 7 or something like that to still build.
Right. Okay.
So not too much for Kill Team.
You know what? I think you might be all right there. You know, as long as you don't stick the Broodlord in, you're probably going to be okay. Because I can't remember exactly how many points the Gene Stealers are, but you can, you know, obviously within your warband you can have up to 20 models. So you're kind of within the model count. Pardon?
12 points per one.
Yeah, well, like I say, you're within the model count. You just and then you select from those 20 models to put a unit together. And if you're playing campaign, of course, then that's kind of useful because you could kind of throw a couple of specialists in there and stuff. So it would make sense to have more models than you actually need per game.
Definitely.
Modelling people in the centre there. Has anybody seen the Forge World preview for the Sump Croc? Has that caught your eye at all? Have you been looking at that?
He looked cool.
Yeah, I think I saw it crop up. Yeah, that did look a bit different. I haven't seen anything like that for a while.
Yeah, I was kind of one of those pleasantly surprised, but not entirely sure what I'm looking at. Kind of like where's this come from?
I have to say, and I'm normally quite a positive chap, I think, the illustrations to me, and whether it's the angle of the photo, which is always a really, really tricky one, but the illustration looks a lot nicer than the actual model, if you like. I don't know. I think it's ended up with chunkier legs, and it feels kind of to the detriment of the model, but I like the idea we're seeing some of this expanded sort of 40k universe, but I'm going to have to coin that term, aren't I? We're seeing the kind of expanded universe of 40k, though. These creatures that you've read about in the books and stuff like that. It's nice to actually see them appearing, if you like.
That thing is it sort of struck me as a reminiscent of, if anyone knows Warlord games, of the Boromites that you got from Gates of Antares. It kind of struck me as kind of similar or akin to that, but I think maybe they need to make the head like a little bit more elongated. It seemed very, very kind of stocky a bit.
Well, it might well be. That's what I mean about the angle of the photograph, because it's just hard to tell, isn't it? You know, it looks really short snout, but that could be everything about the angle of the model. And the fact that it's got quite a bright colour scheme, just making it really hard to define what the shape is. It's almost, you know, when you see these well, we see it all the time because we're just down the road from Land Rover Jaguar. You see when they've got new models out, they cover the car in camo, sort of a black and white camo pattern, so you can't tell the shape of the bodywork. And it's to stop the automotive press kind of getting a sneak preview of what the model, because they need to drive them around the roads and all the rest to test them, but they cover it in this camo pattern, so you can't kind of make out the shape of the body panels. It's that paint job is almost causing the same problem. I just can't quite make out the shape of that model.
Yeah,
so I think it needs a 360. But it's nice to see that extended universe, as I sort of said, coming through. Though I think that's cool. Right, we've got some chat going off. Something to do with corgis, 15 blood warriors, 20 blood reavers, and I need to mix it up a bit. Oh, wow. Oh, that looks like a lot of work. Moggy's Miniatures is in there saying hi, guys. What happened to Moggy anyway? I thought he'd managed to get.
I don't know. He sent us a picture saying he had headphones and everything.
Yeah, and then he just bails on us. I've got room for you, Moggy. If you want to join in, we can squeeze you in the bottom there.
Take this little blank space which I seem to be occupying with just my voice.
And Simon Key saying the sump crop model looks natural, the picture looks mutated. Mutated is better. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. So big news as well, of course, Speed Freaks. You know, that's the other thing we wanted to talk about a little bit. Speed Freaks has finally been announced. We've had a copy of this for about a week now, so we've filmed the unboxing. We've been looking at the models. The models are stunning, by the way. They're just amazing, and you can't help but pick them up and make brum brum noises. You're like, wah, wah. And I keep talking in Ork. I've been talking in Ork always. What's this gobbins and all this? You know, where do I stick this part? You know, it's all like that sort of thing. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. We're really looking forward to playing the game and you know, over the next few days and getting some games under the belt, because it looks like a lot of fun. But you know, maybe that's how I was saying, we're gonna have to paint the plastic's color coded. They've already put some shots of this stuff up, but we're not going to have a lot of time to get them painted. And I'm just remembering what a great job Judge did with that vehicle for WordForge Games, actually. Do you like Orks?
Yeah, I like Orks. Yeah, they are great fun.
Might have to be pestering you for your postal address.
Yeah, sounds fine to me.
So, because of you, by the way, I also this week bought myself one of these wonderful things. There you go. So,
Yes.
beautiful, absolutely love it.
Yeah, I like I say, I've flip flopped between wet palettes and well palettes for years, and never sort of managed to sort of stick with the wet palette. But I've stuck with the everlasting one, and I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, what do you think? One thing I noticed straight away was when I laid the paper down on top of two things. The wet sponge takes about 18 litres of water to get wet. I mean, it's insane.
It does take a lot, yeah.
There's some kind of TARDIS thing going off there. The water's going into another dimension, which I have built a theory around this. That's how it remains everlasting, is because you have to literally do like 17 litres of water into a pocket dimension that's contained in the bottom tray, and it just slowly releases it back into our dimension. It's just insane. I just kept pouring water on it, just kept going. But the other thing I noticed when you lay the paper down, I didn't really have that in previous with the P3s and stuff. I've had the paper curl back up and kind of, you have to weigh it down with paint pots and stuff. This thing just laid down and it was done. I mean, I had a tiny little bit of a curl, but
you get a little bit of curl, but it sorts itself out. Like you put it down, you see it start to curl a little bit, then you turn around to get something, turn back, and it sorted itself out. It's crazy. It's really good.
Just really good. And I have to say, I have to confess, I was a little bit cynical when it kind of came out, because it was like, at the end of the day, it's a wet palette, it's a bit of sponge, it's a bit of paper. How can it actually be much better than anything else, if you like? But it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So, Elstonation, maybe the little treat for yourself before Christmas, maybe, or something.
Maybe. I desperately need to sort out my technology first. Once I've done that, then I might treat myself with an autism or painting. But...
Are you having some kind of technology problems?
It seems to be like everything comes. I used to say everything comes in threes or whatever like that. This isn't. It's just technology avalanche has happened on my life. And I'm like, motherboard failed on that one. Camera's not working on this one. This and that, and yeah. Technology does not like me right now.
Well, I've been, I'm sure once you get your technology sorted, and I have spoken to you, we might be able to sort something out there anyway, but that'd be cool. But I'm thinking as well, is it worth us trying to do? We talked about trying to do a get together, either here or maybe we could meet up somewhere, and maybe we could make Judge Good play a game of Kill Team. Then maybe that's what we need to do. It's the right model count. And we could get some games in. Do you think we could do that before Christmas? Is that a possibility? Or is everybody super stacked before Christmas?
I think I'm okay. I'm about to go through a new transition in life, but I think a weekend shouldn't be too much of a problem.
I should have thought I'll be able to squeeze something in. I'll have to check, but I'm up for it.
Yeah, we could do a weekend or something.
I think we should do it. I actually think. Hold on a second, guys. This. Can I get? I'm trying to see if I can get Moggy to join us actually, and unfortunately, I'm not sure I can add an additional person into this call once it. Oh! We might be there. So let's see if we can do this.
Only if he's got headphones. Otherwise. Last time.
So Scott is saying, I tell you what, I've sent Moggy a link. Scott is saying, how did everybody do? I think he's meant to be saying at Armies on Parade. Moggy, you should have a chat open now. So if you come into that chat, you should be able to join it. I'm hoping. Hello. I'll say hello anyway on the chat, and let's see if we can get Moggy in. Because I'd love to see these new headphones. It's very exciting. It's been seen by him. He must be only minutes away from joining us. Whoa, what's going off? I've got 3 blank windows now. Awesome. So Liam's picture is completely gone. We've got Elstonation's picture of his dog, and Moggy's logo's just popped up for some premium advertising.
I bet you Moggy suffered the same issue I'm having.
Oh dear me. It looks like we've lost Liam now. This is definitely one of those Mondays. You know, if everybody's like, what is a Monday show about? It's about...
I'm sorry, Liam, if you've gone, it's my fault.
Oh, Moggy's here!
Moggy, you're in, at least. Audio alone, but you... Whoa! Come on!
Yes!
Oh, he could do
That's awesome. Thanks, Moggy. Well, it's good to see you, sir.
That's it, I've got headphones now. Feels weird.
Well, I'll tell you what then, let's put you on the spot as soon as you've joined then. Are you going to give us an update of what's been going off this week?
I've been painting red.
Painting red.
More red.
Is that...
Candy red.
More candy red.
Yeah.
That stuff is truly lethal, I have to say. It is when you ingest it.
I'm used to it. It's good stuff. Good for your lungs.
Yeah, sure, Moggy. Yeah.
So you're clearly working on more Custodes then, yeah?
Yeah. I think I'll be painting Custodes for about another 2 years, but yeah, it'll be alright. More gold and red and black and red.
How have you been getting on with your wondrous 3D printer? Have you calmed down a little bit now? What have we got there? Oh man, what is that? Is that that looks like a Titan? The
Lucius Pattern Titan. I started painting this little guy. Metal Stug.
That's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I saw the print of that, yeah, and yeah, it's amazing. Even down to the rifling in the barrel.
Yeah. Making stencils.
Nice.
Yeah, how did
No,
that?
you just
Did
showed
you?
off.
You know what? I was thinking the same thing. I think it's brilliant for making stencils. Did you do that flat on the plate? Clearly, that's how you did it, yeah.
Yeah, I found this stencil. I found this stencil on Thingiverse, but it wouldn't, because I needed it so small and thin, it wouldn't print. So I made it thicker and let it print a couple of layers and then stop the print. And I just took it off like this, so you get a thin, so it'll bend around the surface you want it. So
Right.
I just let it print a couple of layers, and then I got that.
Nice.
Just keep messing about, you know. Bit of fun. I'll actually make something I'll use yet instead of just practicing.
That is the thing, isn't it? I've yet to order. Whilst my wonderful wife did treat me to one of those printers, I can't actually afford the resin to go in it at the moment. So basically, I don't print anything. I'm like, oh no, I don't want to. You know, I've done the test file. I've got the test file floating around. Look, there you go. Oh wait, no, it's green, which doesn't work on a green screen. I need a different colour resin, clearly. So I did the test file, you know, but after that I just lost my nerve. Couldn't do anything else, Moggy. I just until I can think of something that's definitely worthwhile printing.
Get quite a few prints out. Get quite a few prints out of that 250mm.
I know.
But yeah, it is 60 quid a litre.
That tank that you printed, is that hollow? Is the model actually hollow?
Yes.
So how did it drain? Okay,
there's a hole in the bottom.
So there's a drain hole, right?
Yeah, so keep it like that for a bit, so the resin can put it under ultraviolet light, so it cures the inside. Then you just prime it.
Wow. Cool.
But this one's ready to print, so it's learning how to get the supports and stuff on the damn things.
Awesome, man. Looking good. We've lost Liam again. Liam's popped out. This is.
Sorry, Liam, it's my fault. Actually, it's Phil's fault for inviting me. So.
No, this was happening before you showed up, dude. It's just an evening of wonders.
Well, Liam was the only other gamer, really, so it's quite difficult to talk about gaming when I'm surrounded by painters more than anything. That's
I game.
You game. You game.
I do game.
I said that with the derision it deserved. When did you? When did you last game?
When did I last go? Probably about a week ago.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
I take it back. I take it back.
I'm kind of like once a week, maybe twice a week gamer.
Right. Okay. Wow.
So,
Well, I take it all back, Elston. We're going to have to get together for a game then. I think there's a couple of things that I definitely want to get done shortly. Like I said, it would be great to meet up and play Kill Team, just to see how you hobby fanatics survive at rolling a few dice.
I'm bringing Thousand Suns because they just wreck face.
They do.
I'd bring
They do.
custodians, you couldn't have them.
Nope, not allowed. Thousand Suns all the way.
Thousand
Just
Suns, Harlequins. Harlequins are pretty tough.
No,
Having said that, I think I've got what they're called. What are these called, Cat? Death Watch. No, not Death Watch. Anyway, one of these guys, black dudes. What they're called? I forgot what they're called. 40k dudes.
Great Knights?
Is it Death Watch?
Dark Angels, Death Watch. Does he have a silver shoulder pad with loads of writing on?
He looked like he had a halberd.
Right.
He
So,
does.
yeah.
Isn't it?
I'm not very 40k, so I forget names of things. This guy, you know who this guy is? What faction is he?
Yeah, it's Death Watch. Yeah, it's Death Watch.
Yeah, that'll do. Just bring a bunch of those, you'll be fine. We've got
Yeah, you'll be right.
some stuff in the chat at the moment. So Jim Wilson said in his area, Bournemouth UK won the best scenic board with a 2-foot by 2-foot Blood Bowl diorama. We need to see this on the community page then. I did notice actually Scott had, and I briefly brought it up, Scott had posted his Army on Parade up. Have you guys ever done Army on Parade?
No, I probably could do it, knowing my past history, but no, I've never really gone for it.
I've got gaming tiles down there to do one, but I've never actually got around to doing it.
You
Those
should.
city boards.
Yeah, those city boards are great. I think they're fantastic. So I've got Scott's up, and I think if I remember rightly, well, actually you can see it done this really, really cool sort of diorama board with a back wall, and there's like a little crane lifting thing going off as well. It's all very wonderful and orky, and it looks like he got best themed entry, best scenic board, and best monsters and machine as well. So
Nice.
did very well.
Nice.
Did very well, Scott. So congratulations. So I haven't seen anybody else posting up their boards. There is another piece of Mr. Gudger's work here. Who's the dude with a handsome tash then? What's that about, Judge? The sword and shield guy.
Yeah, it's a Reaper mini. I picked up. I think I picked up at Chilcon in Sheffield. I was just one of the traders had a whole load of Reaper stuff. It was like a bucket of Reaper stuff, and I was just sort of rifling through it, and I just saw that guy, and I just liked it. It's got a slightly sort of caricature quality to it with his oversized hands and jaw and feet and everything, and I just thought it was a really nice little mini. And so
Sounds like Austin.
Thank you.
So it was just what I had. I got it. I thought it was really nice. I primed him up, and then he sat on the shelf for ages and ages and ages. So I like I said, I just thought, right, it's time to clear some of this. And I thought I've been meaning to paint this guy for ages, so I'll give it a go. So I sort of sat down with him and thought, right, I'll do this, and I'll see if I can.
Hello.
Hello?
Everybody is frozen but you, Liam. Is that right? Are you there?
I'm here.
I'm
I
here.
can see you barely.
Like the internet's like kind of like chaotic, warped. I just don't like it.
Weird's going on here.
It's I'm hoping we've still got. Yeah, I've literally lost everybody but Liam and you. So those two guys literally just dropped out. I don't know what happened there at all. This is definitely one of those nights, isn't it? We're just having technical fail after technical fail.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, we were having a nice old chat there as well, and it disappeared. I tell you what, I am going to do. I'm going to push on. Looking else in the Wargamer Online community as well. Steve Perry posted up his dust. 1947, the Jag Luther.
That stuff is.
Oh,
that
man.
stuff's beautiful.
What a great looking model. It's fantastic. And he's done a beautiful job with the weathering as well. Stunning work.
Yeah.
So just having a quick look through that. So well done, Mr. Perry. Great work as ever. And hello.
It threw me off.
Yeah.
I've no idea. What's great is every time somebody drops off and comes back, the order changes. So you all just rotate around. Yeah. Thordalim's just saying Liam's back rest is gone, but there you go. Not quite sure what happened to you all, but that was pure comedy. Where were we? Who was talking? I think it was Judge, wasn't it?
Yeah. I was just talking about the Reaper Mini. I don't know where I got to. It was just one I picked up just because I liked the look of him, and I just got the primer gilts as he'd been sat there primed and not painted for ages. So I wanted to do it, and I wanted to do it in a reasonable amount of time, because I quite often start a paint job and then just end up sort of overdoing it and just going on and on and on and on and on and on. So I sort of set myself 2 nights to just get it done for that one, and so I was quite happy with how that went.
That's cool, man. I love the jawline on it. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm not sure whether I said that before or after everybody got cut off, but Jim Wilson's just, if you guys have got Facebook open, just check out the community page, because Jim Wilson's just posted up his Blood Bowl stuff. I'm just going to bring that up for everyone because it's beautiful. I actually saw this, and Mr. Wilson, I didn't realise this was yours. This is amazing. I've seen photos of this on the internet. It's just absolutely beautiful. I love the playbook, and mate, and you've got the Orks with the just a very simple playbook, really. Knockouts and kills. That's really what they're after. It's just very nice.
I love the advertising boards on the back as
Yeah,
well.
nest squig.
Yeah.
That's great, isn't it? Is that a face? It looks like a Facebook logo, but I can't see what that one says, actually. Actually, Jim's in the chat, so seeing as though we can't see around the back of the board, what is the Facebook one? Because I want to know what that is. There's some old school Orks in there as well. These are seriously old school Orks in there. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Sorry.
Go on. Dodger.
Yeah, that is brilliant.
Black and Dodgy, yeah. And Zombway. Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. Face blocker, there you go. Coming in from Jim Wilson on the chat. That's a great board, mate. That's stunning work. Oh, wow. That's cool. So, right. Where are we at? We've got about 10 minutes left. So, again, I'm just going to throw it to the chat, really. If anybody has any questions from the Kill Team Commander stuff, then drop it in. I'll see what I can do to answer it. Other than that, for me, I've been working on these guys, the Ghost Axes, for after my 2-day turnaround of a unit of 5 of these guys. I thought I could do that again, and that was 10 days ago. So sometimes hard to repeat the magic, isn't it? Basically, it just doesn't quite work that way. I'm extremely excited. The other thing that's back on my desk is this little conversion I was working on here. So this is the Rune Smiter. I've already started sculpting. I treated myself to a copy of, is it ZBrush Core? I'm looking at Moggy for that one. So we had a quick discussion about software. You know what? It's utterly insane, that software, isn't it? Have you tried it at all?
I've tried. I had a little play with it, but like I say, I was using ZModeler off my friend, but it's getting all the different access and crazy stuff.
Of course, it's called ZBrush, isn't it? Because it's American, so that's a real faux pas on me anyway, calling it ZBrush, isn't it? I'll be saying Wacom tablets next, won't I, or something like that.
So
but
you've got to know the lingo. Once you've got the lingo, you're alright.
That's the thing. Now I know the name of the software. Surely everything will just fall into place. No matter where I start off in that software, I end up with some kind of weird amorphous blob that looks remotely like an ogre's nostril. That's literally the only thing. If there's a job out there sculpting ogre's nostrils, I'm your man. Yeah, no problem at all. But you try to do like a forge or something like that, not unless your forge needs to look like an ogre's nostril. It's not happening at the moment. So, but I'll get there.
Just have a flaming ogre's nostril. Be alright with a pan on it. Top of something.
The problem I have with the software is there's no frame of reference at all. You know, you'll be watching a tutorial and some guy will go, just bring up the axis rotator quadrant inserter and quickly select, click, double drag and with a minus, and then quick mask, invert, and hit reverse on the axis quadroloper, and there you go. And it's like, right, okay, I've opened the software. Where do I find the rest of what you've just said?
You've got to learn the shortcut keys. Once you learn them, it looks a lot simple.
Okay. I'm not terribly convinced.
Or buy a ZBrush keyboard. There you go, overlapping.
Is that the way to go, is it? Is there they do overlays, don't they, for keyboards? Maybe that's the way to go. One thing I have found is you can...
Was it a quadroloper?
The quadroloper is a really powerful tool if only I knew what it was, where to find it, how to activate it, and what settings to put it on. And even then, it possibly doesn't exist. So, you know, it may have just been like an artifact on the video. So, yeah. But if I get anywhere with ZBrush, then I think you know, I might do some little bits, some videos. It feels like it needs like an idiot's guide to ZBrush. So you never know, I might even do something along those lines if I feel like I'm getting anywhere near any direction where I can do anything other than an ogre's nostril. Failing that, I'm just going to do a YouTube video on how to make an ogre's nostril in ZBrush. Right, okay. Other than that, yeah, what else? I have classic 3D printed. So this is using my PLA printer. But these are the lava bases. Printed those two things out, which are the lava bases for my 2 remaining magma drops. So they are printed and primed, and I'll be going through and doing those. So that's this week's project, is to get those magma drops on their bases and finished off. And if I can do that this week, I'll be a happy chap, because all I've got to do then is paint the 2 rune suns and get those on there.
Well, I'm going to Scale Model Challenge this weekend in Holland, so I'll take loads of pictures and put them on the Facebook site for you guys to see.
Oh man, that'd be awesome. So what is this? What is this Scale Model Challenge? Because you mentioned it earlier. I asked you what it was. You wonderfully ignored the question. You just thought, why am I going to answer that, Phil? That's what Google's for. So don't worry, I went off and Googled it. But for the sake of everybody else, what is this thing and why is it in Holland?
It's been. I think this is the 10th or 11th year. It's a massive show. It started off with scale models, but there's a massive painting competition there. It's in a hotel. It's over 2 days. There's loads of vendors as well. It's just paint. It's like a painting show really for scale modelers, war gamers. You can enter there's no categories as such. You can enter anything you want.
So you're seeing like, you know, World War II and stuff like that. Is that what you kind of seeing that kind of stuff there as well?
All the big painters there, Ben Comics will be there, and Max Situation, you know, and all them will be there as well, doing demos and. So the first year I'm going, so.
Wow. Happens. And is it expensive to go to? What's the entry like?
It's not much. I think it's like 20 euros a day or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
If you do enter the competition, I think it's €5 an entry, or €5 for your first so many entries, and then it's €5 extra. But you can enter groups of models as well. You don't have to just enter one thing. You can enter like a show with all your best ones. So I'm not entering because
you're too good.
I can't accept. No, it's not. It's my first year going, and I've got to go on a plane, and so. But next year I'll probably send them over to my friend to take in the car, in the entries. So we'll see how it goes this year.
Well, it's a shame I've only just found out about it, because I would have gone with you, but you know, good timing there.
Oh, next year, I'm going again next year, so that was it. You know what? You get a plane ticket. I've got a spare bed. I've got a twin room and there's only me in it. There you go.
I'm on it then. I'm on it. Unless one of the other guys is going to beat me to it. I can't imagine a better way of spending my weekend than sitting in a hotel room while you spray out that gloss red everywhere out of your travel airbrush. Right, okay, there's a bit of chat going off in there. There's a lot of advice on ZBrush. We've got, you can cut straight to the quadrolloper if you activate your quantum transfunctioner. I'd seen the quantum transfunctioner. It's a download patch, actually. I've not installed that yet. There's a flux compensator which helps, particularly if your processor's running too quick. And you can replace all of that with a custom booster redux as well if you want. So all of these things are very useful to me. Thanks for your help, guys. That's Big Mech and, you know, is it Skynershen? Sorry about that if I've butchered your name. Apologies. We've lost someone, and he's back.
He's back in the bottom corner now.
It's literally like a game of musical chairs, this. Absolutely brilliant. Right, I think at that it might be worth calling it a night. We've not really had any questions on the chat, which means nobody really wanted to know much about Kill Team Commander, so there'll be more. You'll see a couple of games on the channel in the next few weeks anyway, definitely. We're filming tonight. There'll be an edit over the next few days, and we'll be getting those Commander games up for people to have a look at what we do. I'm definitely taking Eldar. Liam is taking... Liam's frozen. No, he's there.
I will take... I don't know. I don't know.
That's decisive.
What do I take? I'll figure it out. I want to say Space Marines, because they're the only things that got painted.
Right, okay, so Space Marines it is. Gudge is dropping in and out the chat as we go along. We're also, as I said, you expect some wonderful Speed Freaks content from us over the next well, certainly the next week or so. So check that out as we come along. We're definitely filming a game tomorrow night, which I'm really, really excited about. It looks like a lot of fun to play, so that's a good one for everyone to look forward to. And even if you're not into the gaming... Even if you're not into the gaming, the models are just insane. They're absolutely wonderful. So do check those out as and when they drop on pre-order. At that, I think we'll wish everyone good night. And thank you very much for joining us all. I suspect we might continue this chat for a while longer, maybe. I don't know whether you guys are hanging around for a bit, but we could...
Yeah, I want to see if I get my camera working.
We'll certainly be around.
Camera.
Shiner Shen says, "Call me however you want." So I've gone with Shiner Shen. I don't know whether that's right either. I was hoping that somebody else in the chat would help me with that, but there you go. We'll go with that. If you particularly
Call you Shine.
Go on then. Actually, you know what? Everybody can have a go at that name. Moggy.
Schneiner Shen. No idea.
Judge, do you want to have a go?
I can't even see it. I've had to reboot. I lost all sound, dropped out, came back in, and still had no sound. So I've rebooted, and I've now got sound back.
Elston, if you're there, you can have a go at this name.
No, shine.
He's not here right now. Please leave message after the beep.
Right, okay. You know what? Let's just stop making a mess of his name because he said, Phil, you got it right. So let's just go with. What did I say? Shinershen. There you go. Right. Look, Daryl says, thanks for another great chat, gents. Apologies for all the technical up and down. We'll get this right one day. We are trying new tech out, and we do seem to be getting either closer or further away, depending on your view. Beast had the Browns leather and base coats on his models and managed to wash on his Blood Reavers. So there you go. Good progress by all. Ralph has got to be German for that one, mate. Well, Ralph, you can join the chat and you can give me some lessons. Hopefully that will sort it out. And yeah. Let's say good night, folks. We'll let these wonderful people get on with their evenings. Good night, all. Thanks a lot.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Night.